Hey guys, Pixel here. It's been just a little over 6 months now. It's time to talk about the Pixel 6 Pro again. Now, if you guys want a more overall picture of the device, please check out my main review in the card above here, because just like with the Xperia video, this is going to be a bit of a negative one. First of all, let's just stay on the positives. Android 13 is out, and it fixes most of the bugs that have been cropping up on the Pixel 6 Pro. Now, bugs usually come up now and again and then just disappear. With every update that Google's pushed to the Pixel 6 Pro, which is basically every month, they've been fixing bugs continuously. However, they have also introduced quite a lot of new bugs, quite major ones. I'll get onto that in just a second. But Android 13 as a whole has been great. I do like the new opening and closing animation, which hides the fact that apps open as separate activities. It has this nice screen wipe animation, similar to kind of what you get with iOS. But it's really nice. The motion blur on it is really nice. You also get a new animation when you're opening the camera up on the lock screen. No longer does the screen turn off and turn back on. You actually get a nice animation now. And it's been relatively stable, but again, there have been some bugs. One of them is wireless charging doesn't work anymore. Whether you're using a regular wireless charger or a Pixel stand, it just doesn't seem to want to charge wirelessly, which is kind of a major issue for those who use wireless charging predominantly, for example, my dad. Also, the idle battery drain has been pretty bad. Everyone I've spoken to, including my dad, including my friend Jamie, including people over on the Google Pixel subreddit, have said the Android 13 update has made the battery considerably worse, and that's also something that I've experienced. I will get onto battery life as a whole in just a second, because it's time to talk about the main problem that I've had with the Pixel 6 Pro, and I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. So I've had two main issues with the Pixel, but the main one is, this phone gets really hot. Now, when I bought the phone, it was winter. It didn't really matter. However, now it's been summer, it's been really nice and warm in the UK for the past couple of months, although it's gone back to being cold now. But the Pixel has just not coped well in the heat whatsoever. I've had it overheat on me when I was just charging in my room. I've had it overheat on me when I was just walking about. I was even using the phone for streaming or literally anything like that. It was just in my pocket. I pull it out, it's overheated. I've had it overheat on the train ride before, and I wasn't able to charge the phone, which was terrifying because I had like 20% left, and I still needed to use my phone to scan my phone in the ticket booth to get out of the train station, and then use my phone to scan my bus card to actually get back home. It was all very anxiety inducing. Now, what do I mean by the Pixel overheating? Well, what will happen is it will say device too hot, the refresh rate of the screen will drop down to 60 Hz, and also the CPU will get underclocked to the point where it feels like a really old sort of Android budget phone. It's not been a great experience, it's been stressing me out. I mean, you know, once I was just using an iPhone, spoiler alert, and again, it was just in my room, it was just charging. I came back to it and it stopped charging because it got too hot. Even now, I was just charging this phone up for a later segment because it was on 60%. I charged it up, and I have a battery temperature app you can download, and the battery has gone up by 10 degrees as it was fast charging. And again, it's quite cold today, and it was on almost 40 degrees just charging up. So you can see how the phone ends up getting too hot when it's actually a nice warm day and no longer wants to charge. So of course, the Pixel 6 Pro supports fast charging. I use over a 20 watt fast charger. The problem, however, is that it doesn't stay at 20 watts for too long because the phone ends up heating up, and because it heats up, the wattage drops to compensate. And every time it does on my specific Ugreen charger, the phone will disconnect and reconnect, which causes it to vibrate, which is really irritating when I'm trying to sleep at night. But also it will come out do not disturb and then go back onto it. And let's just talk more about the battery, because this is the second issue that I've had with this phone. It's got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. It is a huge battery. It's a battery that you wouldn't believe a phone would have a couple of years ago. But yeah, the battery life is absolutely pathetic. And yes, one part of it is the Android 13 update with the idle battery drain. Another part of it is the Tensor chip. The modem is not very battery efficient whatsoever. But the battery life has just been stressing me out. When I was using the Pixel, I would have to keep plugging it in basically at every opportunity that I had, because I know that if I'm using it during the day and I go to work at night, it will not last me for the whole day, which isn't great, especially when sometimes it doesn't want to charge because it's too hot. And I'm getting maybe about 4 hours screen on time, 5 hours if I'm pushing it, but I will finish maybe, I'll start the day at 10 AM, I'll finish the day at home about 6 PM, and then I'll go to work. By the time it's 6 PM, the battery will be on about 50-ish%. Even when I've been at work and I've just had the phone laying there on the table because I'm using the iPhone, again, spoiler alert, I've had the battery just drain on the Pixel, even though it's doing nothing, it's just connected to mobile data. And there's all these little bugs that Google hasn't fixed for the whole year that this phone has been out. For example, if you take multiple pictures in the camera app while the phone's locked, if you then go into the image preview and delete one of the pictures, it'll come back as a low resolution thumbnail, and then it'll freeze up the image preview. You have to back out of it and then go back into it to see your other remaining pictures. Also, zooming in sometimes is completely random. You might be on 2x and you want to zoom into 6x, so you'll do that, but instead the phone will just randomly jump to like 0.7x for some reason, so you can't ever get smooth zooming. Well, you can sometimes, just not all the time. It's completely random. Something I'm pretty sure every single Pixel 6 owner has experienced is the glitchy gestures, where sometimes you're trying to swipe up and it's like the navigation bar is just not there, the phone's ignoring it, and then you swipe up again a couple of times, and then you swipe up again and you're finally back into your home screen, but you have to keep swiping up like 5 times for it to actually register what you're trying to do. You know, you're editing a photo in Google Photos. Not only can you not copy and paste edits like you can do now on iOS 16, but it'll just save it as a complete copy. It will also destructively save as a copy. It'll be lower resolution if you zoom in far enough. So I got an iPhone 13 Pro Max. Now, as I'm shooting this video, it's 5 days until the iPhone 14, 14 Max, 14 Pro and 14 Max announcement. Fun. But I managed to get this phone for £300 off MSRP. It is brand new, essentially. It's only 2 months old. Not a single scratch on it. Came with the box, came with the Apple stickers, the cable, whatever. So I know that I won't be able to afford a new iPhone. I can barely afford this one as is, especially since no one's wanting to buy my Pixel. What a surprise. I'm not as much in love with this phone. I'm pretty sure it's heavier, it certainly feels heavier. It's not as nice in the hand as well as the Pixel. Aspect ratio on the Pixel is a bit nicer, it's a taller display. Cameras aren't as great as well when you're zooming in. It just makes a very smeary, watercolory, oil painting mess. And I'm not a particular fan of the picture processing as well, although you can change the processing styles now. You can make it more like the Pixel, and you can change the warmth as well, because I've always found the iPhone 4 to be too cool and too bright. But even then, it definitely over sharpens photos a lot as well. When I was trying out the night mode with my friend Jamie, he had his Pixel, I had the iPhone. I got some nice shots, but ultimately I still preferred what the Pixel was doing, and yeah, I'm not in love with this phone. But you know what I'm in love with? The fact that it's reliable. The fact that I can finish a day with between 60 to 40% of battery life, even when I'm using the phone for over 7 hours. I would absolutely have to plug the Pixel in at least once to get myself up to 7 hours screen on time. I actually did have it overheat on me once. I was installing iOS 15 and installing all my apps on it, and I was quick charging it as well. You know, this was when I first got the phone, and it did overheat. But you know what it did? It still charged up to 80% before it stopped itself to protect the battery, which is what the Pixel should do, because if I'm charging my phone up, especially if it's on something like 20%, it's a bit of an emergency. I need the battery charge. But again, the iPhone just gets less warm. I mean, you know, the Pixel managed to get up to 45 degrees trying to shoot this video last time. I just got a message. What did that message say? Did it say device too hot? Did it really? Yes, it did, ladies and gentlemen. It's overheated trying to do the conclusion of this video. Oh, absolutely phenomenal. And we can actually see that the battery temperature is at 44 degrees, which is really, really, really bad. I've also had better reception on the iPhone as well. I've managed to get 5G in more places than the Pixel. 4G is about the same. I mean, yeah, 1 bar. I'll be getting 1 bar on the Pixel as well, but I've been managed to get 5G more on the iPhone, so it must have stronger antennas or a stronger modem. So yeah, in conclusion, unfortunately I'm getting rid of the Pixel 6 Pro, like I said. I've loved using this device, because again, cameras are amazing, except the front-facing one, because the video is noisy, and also you can't shoot 4K 60 on the front-facing camera, and the microphone's a bit quiet, but the rear-facing cameras have been absolutely incredible. You know, the zoom range has been incredible, all these little features, and you know, it working well with Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok after an update. It really is the best of what Android can offer. But then you've got the bugs, and then you've got the battery life, and then you've got the thermals, and I'm not a lover of iOS. It makes life more convenient, and I like the ecosystem, but there's also things I don't like about iOS that I will miss once I get rid of Android. But anyway, I've been rambling on for a little bit too long now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.